Naona maingi yanakamoto.
You know we've gone international now when we start hearing that on the calls. Oh my God. Joyce, what language is that? That's not Swahili. What is it?
It's Swahili.
Is it Swahili? Jambo.
Yes.
Jamba
Cool.
sana.
Jambo sana. Ah, see?
Jambo.
White boy know a little international language.
Done.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, April 26, 2020, episode 431. Can you believe we've done this 431 days? Oh, my goodness. My name's Sean Murphy. I'm your head misfit. We call ourselves misfits because we don't quite fit in out there, but we fit in here. Today, we'll have conversations of joy, of honor, of love, of international flair. But the goal of these conversations each and every day is to awaken us to an outstanding awareness, an outstanding presence that's called us. Because here's the reality. We all belong. We all belong here. We all belong in this moment in time. We all belong to a place called ourselves. So in this conversation today, I don't know where it's going to go. I just know it's going to be amazing because we've got individuals from around the globe to share thoughts, share conversations, share concepts. And in doing so, we'll all be a little bit better. So with that being said, what I'd love to do is, first of all, want to welcome, for those of you that are new, drop an N in the chat if you know how to do that. You can see the little chat button. Drop an N in the chat. Now, I do have somebody I do want to introduce here in just a moment. And so that we can send some love to you. Appreciate you being here. And then go ahead and send out your 3 messages. And if you can't do it while you're on your phone or whatever, do it later. But let's send out our 3 messages. Why? Because when you send something out, when you give something away, it makes room for more. I went and grabbed a cup of coffee. If I drink some out of this, if I take it in, the cup gave me something of its own, and guess what? There's now more room in the cup for something new. So that's what happens when we send out these messages of joy, of gratitude. Yeah, but I don't feel like it. Well, I can say this. If it wasn't for this call starting a couple of minutes ago, I might have had a very frustrating morning. I was having some conversations with some people who do work for me, and they had forgotten to do some pretty simple things. And that happens. So we get a reminder. And then I had another message that came that told me something had happened and I didn't know about it. So this is just me. I'm just being raw and real here. All of a sudden, my worth started to change. Am I worthy of, do I do anything of value for anyone? I'm just telling you, these things happen. These ideas happen. So my point is that if you're not doing things to allow joy to flow back into your life, this call allows joy to flow back into my life. Joyce, who I'm going to introduce you all to here in just a second, is going to just bring so much joy into my life. So we have to always be in a conscious effort to make sure joy is flowing into our life. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So here's my conversation with you this morning. What is your river of joy that flows into your life? What is your river of joy that you're allowing to flow into your life? Have you put the dam up? Listen, I've been doing this for 50 years. I've been selling corn. I sold corn off a hay wagon when I was 5. So I'll be 55 in June. Good Lord, God bless us all. So I've been doing this for 50 years, sales, training, conversations. And yet even this morning, I could feel my energy shifting because there's breakthroughs that are happening, but I could feel this desire to, you're just not good enough conversation happening in my own head, right? And thank goodness this started at 6 minutes ago, because if it didn't, I could have really gone down that hill. And in the past, I would have. I'm just sharing with you that, listen, it may seem like I always have things by the tail. Sometimes the tail's got me. So I just wanted to let you know that, because that was the feeling just before this call. You guys get me raw and real every day. But let me do something of great honor for me. I don't know if you happen to see her in the video, but she's got that beautiful little green hat on. And she's got that big old smile you see right now. Let me tell you about Joyce. I don't normally do this with people who join the calls, but I want to do this because this one's special, very, 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 very special to me. Joyce, how long ago was it that we were in China together? Was it 7 years?
9 years ago.
9 years ago. So 9
Yeah.
years ago, I'm speaking in China, in Tiansu, at a company, 16th largest network marketing company in the world at the time. And I'm speaking to their 6- and 7-figure income earners. And I asked somebody to come on stage. Now, this is, if you've heard me say, where I was being simultaneous translated into 12 languages, this was the event. So Joyce could hear me. Joyce could hear me the first time because, of course, English. So Joyce comes up on stage, and we have this amazing conversation on stage about her beautiful daughter. And y'all remember the stories that I've told you about. I've got somebody you love at the top of the tallest building, and you've got so many hours to get something done. I did that 9 years ago in China, and Joyce was one of those. And I got to tell you, when I said that about Joyce and her daughter, she turned to me and looked, and she gave me a look. Joyce, I'm glad you're over sitting in Africa calmly, because
Oh yeah.
you were too close that day for me to, like, I got nervous.
Yeah.
So, and then we've just kept in contact for the last 9 years of having conversations, me watching the growth that she's had, her watching the growth that I have. But Joyce, what's happened to you in the last 9 years? And I'm just so honored to have you on the call today, because you're this global leader, not only of your community, not only of your company, but of your country. Tell me what's happening to you, girl. I love you.
Love you big time, and thank you for the opportunity to share on this call. Because Zoom for me is a new phenomenon. We just got onto Zoom since COVID came. So I'm now using Zoom for the first time. I've used Zoom maybe 10 times now. About 10 times. So this is really great. And in the last 9 years, I have I've built a team of close to 200,000 people within Africa. And that question on the stage that day translated to my daughter traveling to do her master's degree in the United States, in England. That was my why. That was one of my whys. And she's now back home. She just came back from Boston. And she's part of the majority of the people you see on the screen now from Africa are in her team. And she's come back home and put in structures into my business because she's done a degree in business. So I'm getting some value from that education.
Thank goodness. Woo!
I tell you. And we now have, because of you, Sean, I got access to some of the most phenomenal leaders in the world. And because of you, Sean, I got to travel to GoPro. I got to be on another one you put me on. I can't remember the name off my head. Some of these special trainings. So I have access to some of the greatest leaders in the world because of that meeting with you 9 years ago. And that's how I got to come to GoPro in America. Wow. And that's because of my relationship with you, Sean.
Well, Joyce, I'm honored to have a small little bit of it, but here's the thing. We can all get direction. It's up to us to take the action. And you have been a consummate student, a consummate giver of joy. And what you just shared in the recognition of paying some recognition to me is what's made you this global phenomenon that I absolutely love. And do you remember when I was going to come over to Africa and we were going to speak, and then there were some security issues that came on because we were going to have a few thousand people at the different events. And so we still need to plan that again. I'm looking forward to sharing the stage with you very soon.
Me too. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen, girl. You know it. And I still have your plaque. Your plaque is right there. It's whenever we sit down,
Yes.
as a family where we sit, I get to see that plaque that you gave me. And it's still a major focal piece for our family. So
Oh, beautiful.
I love
Thank
you so
you.
much.
On the group today, I've invited some of my leaders. I just wanted them to get a taste of who you are. So a lot of the guys you see with bushy hair is my team.
I love that. So it doesn't matter. Listen, for all of you guys that are part of Joyce's team, you just realized the true love that she has for you, because it doesn't matter what rank you're at. It doesn't matter. All the guys with the bushy hair, those are part of my team.
They are.
I love you all. Thank you all for showing up here today. Listen, this is truly global. Joyce, I love you. So here's my question for you, for all of us. The question is this: now what? Right? Now what? You're in Africa, you're in Arkansas, it doesn't matter where you're at in the world. We have people who are from Serbia and Africa and Quito, Ecuador, and Canada and California and Hong Kong and the Philippines. Now what? Now what? That's a good question. So here's the question that I have for you. In the last 24 hours, how many times did you say thank you? In the last 24 hours, how many times did you say thank you? This is to everybody. This isn't just to my new dear friends who with the bushy hair. This is to everybody. And when you understand the power of a simple thank you, a thank you covers all challenges. A thank you doesn't need any explanation. It doesn't need any conversation. It just says thank you.
Yeah.
Now, how many times can you send messages out of thank you? See, one of the things that we've talked about here before is that people who are wildly successful that we know, a very dear friend of mine, a business partner of mine, I asked her 3 weeks ago, I said, hey, Angel, what are you doing? She said, I'm sending out thank you messages to my phone. I said, I'm curious. I know I sent out 200. How many did you send out? She goes, oh, my sweet boy. Now, if you know Angel, you know that's like a slap in the cheek. She goes, well, I've sent out about 600. When we wonder why are people successful and continuing to be successful, the question is can we do more? Right now, the world needs more. It doesn't matter where it's at in New York, the world needs more. In Africa, the world needs more. In Ecuador, the world needs more. In Peru, the world needs more. In the United States, the world needs more. Can we go do more? Can we go do more? And the question is that then where do you find your source? Because when you start to give more and when you start to give at the level that the people that are on here that I know can give, the question is where do you find your source? See, I could look at a post of Joyce's when she shares something about her company, about her team, when she gives about her recognition, and that starts to fill up my tank. Well, wait a minute. She's not in your business. You're not in her business. No, but we're in the same business, in the business of building people. You don't have an organization of 200,000 people by building a business. You just don't. It's impossible. Why? Because people come, people go. You have to have rules in place. The reason you're in the game, the reason the game exists is because there's rules. You just have to decide what game you're going to play. And if you play the game of building people, it makes the game a lot more fun, a lot less rules. So now the challenge is what do you do from today? Everything you've done before, everything you've done up until this moment now becomes history. And the way the brain works on it, the way the brain stores the story of this history is you either did good or you did bad. Now, that's today. Tomorrow tomorrow, the same thing that you did that you saw in your history, the same thing that you saw in your memory that you did good, tomorrow, because your life advanced, because you did some things that were new, it's going to look back at your old story and say, you really weren't good enough. See, the brain has this thing of making things look like Jim Rohn used to say, it's never as good as it was, and it's never as bad as it was. But if we start to operate in an energy vibration of less than joyous, because in this moment we get to choose joy or we get to choose misery. That's all. That's the only choice all of us have. The 114 of us on here right now, that's the only thing we have to choose, joy or misery. It's not an action step. It's not an activity. It's not time management. It's nothing other than joy or misery. Well, it can't be that simple. My mentor would say this, you're right, I'm rich, let's move on. So what can you do right now to remember your joy, to be in joy? Have you helped anyone in your life? And the answer to that, I think, would be yes for all of us. So one of the things that I've reminded some of the people who have been on this call, and to all of our new friends from Africa, let me give you some homework. I'd ask you to write out a list of 50 things you've done amazing in your life. I'd ask anybody else who's heard me tell this homework, give you this homework, and has yet to do it, I'd encourage you to get it done. Because this starts the rewiring. Right? If you've heard anything from Dr. Shad Helmstetter, where he talks about self-talk, if you've heard anything from Maxwell Maltz, cybernetics, right? Napoleon Hill, Wallace D. Wattles. Wallace D. Wattles has a mantra in the book called Science of Getting Rich, something that goes like this. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made that permeates and penetrates and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought held in that substance will produce the thought. What that really means is what you think about, you become. So if you have forgotten how many amazing things you've done, because here's the reality. Our life is surrounded by objects. 90%, 95, 99% of our life is filled with objects that we pay no attention to. So when that 1% come along that we're supposed to pay attention to, it's a math problem for us to give it attention. Let me explain. Many of you are dressed, at least that I can see with camera on. And if you did not make those clothes, listen carefully. This is going to probably, it may fry a few circuits in your mind. The clothes that you're wearing are not yours. Now, some of you may have made the clothes you're wearing. I get that. But the majority of us did not make the clothes we're wearing. So those are not ours. Those are somebody else's idea of what clothes should look like for this moment that we put on. We put on somebody else's impression. Follow me on this. Listen, I'm a farm boy from Ohio. I'm going to do my best to get to the point here. Because we put on the clothes of somebody else. We bought them. We bought them. We said, yep, that looks good on me. That fits. How many of us would buy clothes 3 times too big or 3 times too small? We wouldn't. We wouldn't look good. Mm. But how many of us buy dreams that are 3 times too big or 3 times too small, and we try to fit into them? Yeah. And when we try to fit into the dreams that somebody else tells us. See, when Joyce and I left the stage 9 years ago in Africa, and she gave me this gift that has been treasured by my family, she didn't leave me with a target. She didn't leave me with a goal going, hey, listen, 9 years from now, I'm going to get on this technology I've never used before called a Zoom, and I'm going to bring a whole bunch of my friends, and we're going to talk. Can we schedule that on a book right now? Can we put that in the date book 9 years from now? The answer was absolutely no. But you know what we could put in the book? Talk to each other every time our thoughts came up.
Yeah.
Put on the goal that says, I don't know if this relationship is going to last 9 years. I hope it does, but can it last the next 9 days, the next 9 weeks? We put on a goal that was the right size for us. Too many of you are talking yourself out of your success by trying to put on a goal that's way too big for you today. It can be the destination, but what happens is we're trying to get to the destination and we're not capable of the quantum leap to get us from here to the destination. And the quantum leap is only energy. Let me explain. So to all my, and I love you all. So, hey, all of the folks that have come in Joyce's group, tell me what cities you're in. Type it in the chat for me if you would, so I can. And here's my point. I'm going to absolutely prove to every one of you on the call. We got London, we got PA, Diamond. I love the names. Benin City, Nigeria, Slovakia. Is that Connecticut? CT? I don't think that's Connecticut. Grand Prairie, Alberta. Quito. Giorgio, good to see you. Cleveland. Oh, whoever's in Cleveland, we got to talk. I grew up in Cleveland. Here's my point. Watch this. Everybody watch this. And ladies, watch the faces of the ladies that are on video. I want you to think of your first kiss. I mean, that first kiss. Do you remember way back when? Look at Nikki. I'm looking at Nikki giggling. I can tell you, it was either a good kiss or it wasn't such a good kiss. And usually, ladies, I'm so sorry that if we're your first kiss, it's usually not a good one. It's like getting licked by a dog or something. I have no idea what it's like on the other side of these lips when it was the first kiss. Here's my point. That was a quantum leap. I need you to know that you can do a quantum leap. You just went right back to that because it was so emotionally charged. It was so, not good at all, right, Diane? It was so emotionally charged because it was the first. Follow me on this. From yesterday to today, isn't today the first? Follow me. We are so habitualized, meaning we get habitized. We take habits from yesterday and we do the same thing today. For many of you that are on this call for the first time, this is something totally new. You're sitting there going, what is going on? This is the guy Joyce has been talking about? I think she's nuts. I mean, look at him. He's in a t-shirt and a hat. You guys are more dressed up than I am. Here's the thing. It ain't the clothes that make the sale. It's the heart that makes the sale. And the sale is, using Zig Ziglar's conversation, the transference of enthusiasm. Listen, if the clothes made the man, we would all be left at the hospital because we show up naked. Who wants a naked baby?
No.
Tell me how many mothers just absolutely nibble on the toes, right? The corn niblets, eat those toes. You'll kiss every square inch of your naked baby. And then as you get older, when you find your baby, your special significant other, you'll kiss every inch of them again naked. So we don't really want clothes when we're in love. You follow me?
Yes.
So how many times do we try to put on the clothes that are somebody else's idea? We try to put on the ideas that are somebody else's ideas. We try to put on the stories, the goals, we try to use the script of life, and we wind up with torn papers. We wind up with dreams that are shattered. Listen, I can't teach you today. I can't teach you tomorrow. I can only awaken what's inside of you. See, when I learned that, it took all the pressure off of me. I can handle every single objection that ever comes to me because it's never me handling the objection. I let you handle your own objections to see if you're strong enough to talk yourself out of your own pain. Because that's all an objection is I'm in pain. Each one of you are brilliant. Every one of you. The 122 of you that are on here are absolutely brilliant. You don't, where you live in the world shouldn't diminish your brilliance. The color of your skin, the faith of your religion, your experience in life shouldn't diminish your brilliance. This idea of comparison keeps us all stuck. So here's my question. If you were going to compare yourself to somebody today, why don't you compare yourself to yesterday? Just you yesterday. The principle of Kaizen, it's a Japanese principle. Principle of Kaizen says 1/10 of 1% improvement every day. Can you get better today? Can you thank more people today? Can you reward more people today? People in your business. Joyce has 200,000 people in her organization. Can she reward more people today? Can she set up a waterfall of success? She sends it out to her top leaders. They send it out to their top leaders. They send it out to their top leaders. And in less than a day, you've all communicated to 200,000 people. You want to change the world? You want to change the rotation of energy in this universe? Thank 200,000 people. It's rarely been done. Each of you have the world at your fingertips, literally. We're now on a Zoom together around the globe. What can you do today? The question is everything you want to. Everything you want to. In this moment, you have a choice, joy or misery. It doesn't get more difficult than that. So how do we choose joy? How do we stay in joy? First of all, we got to find out. I'm going to ask you to drop a yes, a Y, or an N in the chat. Have you ever experienced wild joy? Just happy, happy, joy, joy. If you've ever experienced joy, drop a Y in the chat. So if you've experienced joy, I mean, the memory came back to tremendous joy. Don't you realize that when that memory came back, your body started to produce new ideas, new conversations, new chemicals in your brain? See, every one of you is a dream pharmacist. You control the most powerful pharmacy in the world, and it's all right up here. I started off this call this morning. My dream pharmacy was producing, I don't know, it was producing dread. It was producing frustration. And it was just, I wasn't saying anything to anybody. I was typing on my keyboard and I was getting frustrated. I'm like, goodness gracious, how many times do I have to keep repeating this? And then I saw another message where maybe I'm not good enough and I'm not this. And my chemical pharmacy was going, oh, thank goodness, we got control. The inmates were now in control. The old story was in control. And I started to feel myself get a little bit more frustrated, my self-worth feel a little bit less. This was all in 5 minutes. Now, if that can happen to me, I bet it might happen to some of y'all. So how do we stay in this joy? How do we stay in this moment? We got to have friends like a Joyce in our life. We got to have friends like a Leslie Hebert in our life. We got to have friends like a Rhonda Bird Parker or Sharon in our life. Or somebody like a Nikki that just shows up and you watch this, watch Nikki's face, watch Nikki's face. There it goes. Yeah, baby. Watch this, watch Alex. I don't know if have we seen Alex smile before? I think we have. There we go. Look at that smile on Joyce. See, that's what changes your life, is when you can start to see your friends smile. Sometimes the source they need is the source we're becoming. Let me say that again. Sometimes the source they need is the source we're becoming. What are you becoming of today? The world needs you right now. The world needs you at a higher energy. But the question is how big is your world? Your world is only you. Everything that you want is as close as your skin. Everything you want is as close as your skin. In an instant, in less than 24 hours, Joyce connects with me and she says, we're just getting used to Zoom in Africa. You seem to do a lot. What do we do? I said, join me on my call. And all of a sudden there's, I don't know, 50, 60 of them, 70 of them that are part of the team, all part of Joyce. If you're part of Joyce's team, drop a J in the chat. Drop a J in the chat. And we wonder, well, how do we, look at this. This is amazing. So here's the question. What's next? You know what's next? The only thing that can be next, listen carefully, is now. There is no next. Next takes you out of now. Next takes you out of joy. Next takes you out of being in this moment. Because here's the reality. You know what's true? Here's the truth. Y'all ready for this? The start of this call will never come back. 2 minutes ago will never come back. The only place we can be is right now. Now, in this moment. In this moment, do you choose joy? In this moment, do you choose joy? So how do we convert this into business? A lot of you are here in the what I believe the greatest industry of all time. The idea that we get paid to develop ourselves personally. You might call it network marketing. Or maybe MLM. I call it MLM. It's me loving more. Mentors leading mentors. If you're on one of my calls on a Sunday, you're one of the mentors that are out there. And here's the definition of a mentor. They let you walk away with their wisdom. That's the definition of a mentor. Joyce is a mentor of mine. Every time I see her post, every time I see her conversation, every time I see her just absolutely ecstatic about when her daughter was graduating and her daughter's back home, that's a mentor. She lets me walk away with her wisdom. Too many of us, listen very carefully to me. Some of you are going to feel this as a punch in the shoulder. Too many of you are giving people the title of mentor, and they don't even deserve the title of coach. See, a teacher will teach you what you need to know. A coach will teach you what you want to do better, but a mentor will teach you how to do things you didn't know you could do. Too many of you your business is absolutely, I don't know how else to say it. Your business is absolutely sucking because you're paying attention to people you give the title of mentor to, and all they're doing is repeating a script to you. All they're doing is telling you what they think you should do. Yeah, I get in trouble from a lot of coaches for this, going, my team came to me and they told me I'm no longer their mentor. I go, I didn't tell them to say that. I just gave them the definition of a mentor. Can you be a mentor to the next prospect that comes into your life? Can you sit quietly with them and find out what it is, what their biggest fear is, and how you can help them overcome it? Because Brene Brown, in her talks, in her conversations, if you've heard of Brene Brown, she says there's this difference between guilt and shame. And too many of our presentations keep our prospects in shame. Shame is what kills dreams. Shame is what causes people to kill themselves. Guilt never killed anybody. Guilt is what gets you into action. Guilt is when you walk by the refrigerator and go, there's ice cream in the freezer, I'm going to have some, or there's cookies on the counter. Guilt is when you eat the cookie and you go, I shouldn't have done that. Shame is, I'm going to eat 50 more because I'm not good enough. Some people join you in business because you shame them. You don't mean to. You definitely don't mean to. I don't believe there's anybody that wants to shame anybody into their business. But maybe, quite possibly, We don't know how to use guilt. And guilt doesn't come from when you tell them what they're doing wrong. How many of us have ever seen somebody hold up that that thing that's got that thing and they pull it apart and it says, you should be doing this. You should be doing what I do. You should be traveling. You should be trading. You should be taking your vitamins. You should be using my mask, my cosmetics. You should be drinking my juice. That's called injected values. And how many of us like to be injected with somebody else's values? We'd love to be able to take their thoughts and their wishes. That's why we watch a Tony Robbins, a Dr. Wayne Dyer. We listen to a Napoleon Hill. We follow a Joyce. We want them. The reason Joyce has 200,000 people in her organization is not because she told everybody, get your butt over here. Now, she will tell you, get your butt in gear, I'm guessing. Yeah, see, I knew I'd get a smile out of that one.
Yes.
But it's because she's this mom. Moms can do that. Moms have the authority to tell us what to do. Dads, not so much.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing, guys, Joffrey's having this conversation with me. I love you, brother. I'm hearing his voice. I'm hearing his mind going, oh my gosh, I got to pay attention. We want to fix things. We want to tell people what to do. And listen, I could tell you right now 17 things to do, and you'd go, okay, cool. If I told a female one thing what to do, they go, he don't know me. This is the way the brain works. So if you're trying to find a way to communicate with women in your business, you got to do it like they're your queen. It doesn't matter whether they know if they're just getting started or not, because their life, the way that they have been raised, if they have had any struggle in their life, and I'm guessing Africa's no different than Arkansas or Atlanta or Athens, Georgia, or any place else that starts with an A that I can think of. Women have been told and have this philosophy and this mentality of you're not good enough. And if you take care of you, you're being selfish. Can you imagine? I want you all to just throw some hearts up for Joyce. And I know she's not expecting this, so it may make her blush a little. Can you imagine what it takes to build an organization of 200,000 folks in Africa? Can you imagine the journey that she's been through, the places where people have told her, you're not good enough, you don't deserve? Y'all get this?
Yeah.
This is a friend of mine who I've watched for 9 years. Joyce, how big was your team when we met in China?
Less than 10,000.
You remember, I was speaking at the 6- and 7-figure income earner level. We had a gentleman who wrote the book, The Go-Giver, right?
Yeah.
You might have read that, heard that book. He spoke to the 4,000, 5,000 that were in the main stadium. I was shocked. I thought I was going to do the normal folk, if you will. No, I was hired. I was brought over to speak to the 6- and 7-figure income earners, and we did an all-day seminar. And Joyce had 10,000 9 years ago. Just do the math. I don't even know what that exponential ratio is, but to go from 10,000 to 200,000 and to think I had the smallest, ittiest, bittiest, tiniest little part of that. Remember when I said I'm going to leave a legacy of 600 generations? Do you think Joyce has become a big part of my 600 generations of legacy?
Yeah, big time.
And this is my friend. I get to call her my friend. We get to have fun and laugh together.
Me too, you.
So, you never know. You just never know who that contact is. You never know who that person is. Right now, there's somebody in your business that's going to change the world. There's somebody in your business, the person that's listening to this right now, there's somebody in your business that's going to change the world. And they might be your neighbor. They might be the person who just started today. This is how we make a difference in the world. This is how we make the world a better place. Right now, Joyce, I don't know if you've seen, but the FTC and the FDA is going after companies and organizations setting out cease and desist letters of distributors making income claims and conversation claims, be it around coronavirus.
I've seen that.
They just sent out another set of letters today. So you may want to do, every one of you may want to Google FTC network marketing letters and see if your company is on that list. The reason I say that is because we are starting to gain momentum. Think about this. Coronavirus shuts down everything, and the only companies that are really growing, if you're not selling toilet paper or hand sanitizer or masks, which are all vitally important, is this other industry. So when somebody says this whole thing might be a hoax to have a reset on the world, you know, you got to think in the back of your head, is this conspiracy? Is there something to this conspiracy? Because now all of a sudden they're going after our industry and they're telling people, you can't tell anybody that they can have success in this business. That's in essence what they're saying. How we're saying it might be stupid, but what they're really saying is we don't want anybody to know about your profession. You know what? They can't argue about our profession if all we say is, listen, I found a community of love. You want to join me? And we go back to the hippie times and we're all wearing bandanas and going, peace, baby, peace. Goodness, I don't know that I'll ever fit into be a hippie, but I will fit into a community of love and joy. And that's all we're doing here. How is it possible that Joyce can jump on my call? First time we've ever done this call together. You all know that, in 431 episodes. And she brings a whole group of her people and everybody's still getting excited. Why? Because we're all talking the same thing. Build people, not companies.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the best.
Build people, not companies. So the one who just spoke, Davis, tell me your first name.
I'm Davis.
Okay, but say your last name for me because I want to learn how to say these names.
Davis Mugambi.
Mugambi. Davis Mugambi, thank you for being here. Thank you for being somebody with courage. Thank you for being somebody with joy. And thanks for giving us that smile.
Wow.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Listen, this is who we are. We have to build each other. If I can help you build in Africa, I love it. Because you know what? The smiles in Africa, watch this. Look at Davis's smile. Watch this. Watch, you can see it. Watch, here it goes. Here it comes. That smile will show up in my family's life. That smile will show up in my family's life. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. It's coming from Africa. It may take a day or two or a couple of weeks. But I promise you, it'll show up in my family's life. And that's all I look to do. I hope it shows up in my grandchildren's life. I hope it shows up in my great-great-grandchildren's life. That's all I'm looking to do for 600 generations. Change the world and bring value. In Africa, you have a task. You have a mission to bring wealth to your community. And the wealth is sometimes it's just being able to smile again, to be able to look at the things. I've seen some of the videos that you guys share and send to me when you're leaving and you're going to out into your community. And you're just walking through these things, these little small towns with huts and houses. And people are waving at you and they're saying, good morning, Jambo. And you're going, Jambo sana. And you're having these laughs. And we look at in the Western world and go, oh my gosh, how could they be smiling? And I'm like, how could they not? They have friends. People know them by their name, not by their title.
Oh, yes.
I promise you, when everybody was coming on here, all of the people that know me, all of the people that have been on these calls before, Joyce, not one person looked at you and said, man, she's got 200,000 people in her organization. You've done well at hiding your success. And here's the key, but you have never hid your smile. And that's what makes the difference, my dear.
Yeah.
So, you know me, you saw me, I could talk for hours. I want to answer some questions. I want to bring some value to you. So if you've got a question, if you can raise your hand, hit the button, raise your hand. and I'll be happy to call on you and share. Dana, you had your hand up, brother. You could bring some wisdom to this. Whatever you had to share, I'd love for you to share, Dana.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what I want to say, Sean, is the topic you hit today, especially with this group you've got on, kind of struck a chord with me. You know, in this profession, I think to boil it down to the simplest statement of fact and of existence is the network marketing profession, the way it works, is really about the natural economy. And the folks in Africa are very, very tuned into that. There's a word, Ubuntu, and you guys know what that means more than I do. But to a certain degree, this profession is Ubuntu. It's one person reaching out to help another, to help the community, everybody doing their part to create survival and existence. But we don't have to worry about survival so much anymore as we do just bringing the world together in a unified manner of helping other people. And too often, if you look at the statistics on these, network marketing profession, they're kind of grim to a certain extent. But the reason for that is because they're focusing on the big deal, making the money, doing, like you say, doing what they're told to do by somebody who maybe got lucky, maybe knew how to do what they're doing, but couldn't teach it to anybody else. But fundamentally, it's all about the natural economy. One person understanding the needs of another, listening, comprehending, and then seeing if what you have can bring them to an elevated state of joy, of existence, of prosperity, taking pride in that relationship and that process and not worrying about the comp plan and all that other stuff. It takes care of itself. Now, the last thing I'll share with you, and then I'll turn it back over to you, is these letters you're talking about. I had heard they were coming, didn't see any of them yet, but it's kind of interesting because the other thing that network marketing does is it creates a population of people who understand what it means to grow and to become more, to take responsibility for their own joy, and to spread that to others without the need for any process or system at a higher level, say, government, whatever. And I don't know if that's got anything to do with what they like to do, but it's a profession that really is creating a natural economy in the lives of people all over the world. It's growing, it's spreading because the time has come. Anyway, Sean, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you for the opportunity.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. So here's the key. We're all in the same business, building people. What we do culturally, what I do with folks down in Latin America is a little different than what folks you do with people in North America, or different than Mexico, right? Each country has its own specifics. Things in Africa may be different, but they're not different. Everybody has a beating heart. Everybody has this desire to connect, and everybody has this desire to serve more. So, yeah. And again, if you've got a question, right, somewhere on your screen or somewhere, you'll see a little thing, raise your hand. Giorgio, we're going to go to Ecuador right now. Giorgio, you got a comment, brother?
Hello, Sean.
Hello, my friend.
I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to be here. Today's my second day, and yeah, I used to do network marketing a while ago. I'm hopefully coming back this time, but more than that, I wanted to talk about the fact of the joy and the energy move that I felt yesterday, and in the situation I'm in right now, the country is in. I know you guys have heard the news about Ecuador and how we're doing with this COVID thing. And it moved me to do something different, start helping the people, start connecting with people that I'm into my business, but just the fact of starting to move people and starting to gather people to get food and to feed the poor around us. This energy that this group has created for me yesterday, and whatever changes that it's going to bring to my community, I just want to say thank you guys for moving me to do these things. I'm still screwed economically, and I'm still having all the hardships I had yesterday, but I really made a move yesterday to help my community, and it's starting to materialize in results. And as long as we can feed the poor and get past this struggle, this kind of energies and this kind of ideas are excellent. And I just wanted to thank you all for helping me find that inspiration yesterday, and I hope I can keep on being part of this group to find even more inspiration. Thank you.
Well, here's the thing, Giorgio. Thank you for sharing that. Understand that it was you that made all of this difference. I need you to hear this, because your subconscious may not believe that you have this authority. There's a difference between power and authority. You had the authority to make the change because you reached out to me. You started this whole snowball of taking care of your community. I need you to hear that, because I put my post up, but you responded. You reached out. We had a conversation. I want you to know, I need your subconscious to know you started all of this, brother. The fact that you helped, you put that post up yesterday. You did that. The fact that you started that engagement with people all around you about your country, you started it. The fact that you made the decision to go help feed the poor, you started it. Might I have been a spark? That's all we can be, is a spark in people's lives. So I'm honored to after, and this, folks, again, after 6 years, 7 years of the last time we spoke in Quito, Ecuador. Some of you are thinking too short term in your lives. I've got Joyce, who's like my sister for 9 years. I've got Giorgio. We're long lost brothers. We haven't spoken in 6 or 7 years. All of a sudden, the world is bringing us together like this.
Yeah.
And now Joyce gets to intermingle with all of my family and friends that are daily misfits. Giorgio gets to intermingle with all my friends and family. Here's the thing. I'm not keeping them a secret. Don't keep your friends a secret. I'm proud of you, brother. Thanks for doing that. We're going to get the finance part's easy. If you're taking care of souls, you've put out so much, you've given away so much out of a particular part of your energy and of your soul. The money's just energy that'll flow in. I promise you. I promise you. We'll make that happen.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Y'all getting excited? Who's excited?
Yeah.
If you're excited, just turn off your mic and go, I'm excited.
I'm
excited.
I'm
excited. I'm excited.
I'm
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Let's go.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Let's go.
Joyce, you bring all these crazy Africans to the call. I love it. Oh my goodness. This is what the world needs right now.
And the party just started.
And the party's just started. And I love it. The party just started. Yeah, man. Everything cool. We're going to have some liming. We're going to be dancing. Yeah, man.
Oh, yes.
This is what the world needs. It doesn't need another complex explanation. And it doesn't need you need to be making 7 figures. And here's how 18 ways to make $1 million.
No.
People need to know they're loved. People will move mountains. Mothers will lift buses off of their children because of love. Friends will help friends because of love. I know this is the craziest training you've ever been on for business, because I'm not giving you a script. I'm not telling you what to say. I'm not trying to, you got to get out there and you got to tell them they're not good enough. You got to tell them they need to be a part of your comp plan. Do they have enough money in their life? Do they have enough free time in their life? So let me put the mirror back on you. Do you have enough money in your life? Do you have enough free time in your life? Who wants to do what you do? Sacrifice like you, and have just the most amazingly unworthy day. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to work as hard as you do. Nobody wants to work as hard as I do. But you know what they do want? They do want a chance to do more of what they can. So, Philip, you got your hand up in Serbia. So we went from Africa to Quito, to Montaba, Ecuador, and now we're going back to Serbia. Serbia. Philip, you got
Hi, Sean. How are you doing?
Outstanding, brother.
I'm glad to hear that. Sean, look, I just want to go back to the one topic you mentioned about women and about that they are different than us, you know.
Yes.
So basically, one thing that I heard, you know, the most of the time when I speak with the girls, you know, they're telling me, I feel like you're the only one who understands me. And when you mention the mentorships and everything, you know, I gotta think myself about something. I often do listen to them. I do listen their voice, how they're telling the story, how they feel about it. And after that, I just try to find a way to express myself so they can see that I'm with them, that, you know, I can help them. And I'm trying to give them a reason, you know, to move out from that and etc. etc. So here is that one advice for my friend Alex, because he is not that good with girls because he does not want to.
We're gonna have a global throwdown here right now.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
Because, you know, he always mentioned me that in his world it's only black and white. So he's a very, very realistic man. I need to tell him that. But sometimes you need to listen more than you really want to.
So, Philip, let me share something with you. Totally agree. For those of you that have ever gone through a personality test, or what animal you are or what color you are, it's always been 4 categories. And let me let you in on a little secret. There's nothing new under the sun. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, realized that when he was treating disease thousands of years ago, realized that if somebody had a cold, there were 4 versions of that cold. So he had to figure out which personality somebody was. And that's where we get the 4 personalities from. So, Philip, what you just shared about Alex may be absolutely true. But here's the thing. Now, this is mentorship right now. This is mentorship right now. What you shared, the way you shared it, didn't make it easier for Alex to make any changes. So, hang on just a second. Let me get these muted. So you guys can unmute yourselves again, Alex. So here's the thing. The reason that girls listen to you, there's a whole variety of reasons. But the question that I would have you ask anybody, and this is for anybody who you get to listen to you and who you believe you're listening to, they're always going to ask you, what should I do next? And when somebody says, what should I do next? Let me translate this for you with 50 years of experience. What they're saying is I don't want to have to do anything on my own. You tell me, so when it fails, I can blame you. This is where we get frustrated. This is where we get frustrated in network marketing, in relationships. So here's what I would suggest to you, Philip. The fact that they're listening to you when they say, so tell me what to do. You have a very simple responsibility. Well, what would be 2 things you'd want to do? And then let them pick a choice. See, as I've built organizations of 300,000, it's not because I worked with 300,000. It's because I had leadership duplicate and say, when they come to me and go, what should I do? Well, what do you want to do? I don't know. Well, that's not a good answer. Pick something. Well, I want to do this. Great. What would be another option? Well, I'd want to do that. Great. Which one of those would you want to do first? This one. Go do it and come back to me. Now I'm not responsible to you. I'm not responsible for you. I'm responsible to you. People, listen, I know in Africa, in the small groups that I've had over the years, everybody wants to come to me with my experience and go, tell us what to do. We will do it. And they're sponges. In Latin America, tell us what to do. They're sponges. Nobody knows better what to do than the person asking you. But we think we need our ego stroked. Oh, look, I'm good. They need me. Oh my gosh, I'm important in their life. You're not important in their life. They're wanting to blame you for their life. Ooh, snap. So if we can put down our ego and we can pick up our mentorship, see, that's when we think we're telling people what to do, we think we're a mentor. You're not a mentor. You're a glorified coach. And you're actually somebody that's imprisoning them. How many of you want to run around with a group of people who are in prison? A people of group that puts you in authority. They are putting their authority in something they have no authority over.
Another way to support the idea that everybody has everything they need inside is to respond to a question, to a challenge like that by saying, yeah, I know you don't know what to do, but if you did, what might it be? Tapping into their unconscious, because they probably have a lot of solutions in their unconscious, out of their conscious awareness. But if you pace them, agree with their current situation. Yeah, I know you don't know what to do at the moment, but if you did, what might it be?
So all of this conversation is about making sure that giving people the chance to be in charge of their own destiny. See, when we stood on stage, when Joyce and I stood on stage 9 years ago in China, I asked her questions. It's how I knew about her daughter. It's how I knew that she wanted her to be able to go to school and to get a master's degree. See, her daughter didn't have that then. This was all a dream. And now here we are 9 years later, the dream fulfilled, things are happening from 10,000 to 200,000. There was no way in the world I would ever have any authority over being able to tell Joyce, go do it. Here's what you need to do. Could you imagine how egotistical that would be on my part? But yet some of you have leaders that are doing it right now, telling you what to do. Some of you might be the one telling people what to do. That's why your business is where it's at. Give them a chance to take authority over it, even if it's just for them to say, I'm going to read one page out of a book. I'm going to contact one more person. I'm going to send out 2 thank yous today. Give them a reason to say, oh my gosh, I did it. I can do more. I did it. I can do more. Oh my gosh, I did that. I can do more. I did that. I could do more. 10,000 to 200,000. I can do more. I promise you 200,000 was a dream. It was never, wasn't even there's no way I'll have a team of 200,000 people. There was a dream that I'll be able to help more people. That's the dream of a mom, is to help more children, to help more kids. She's got a lot of grown boys on her team that makes her pull her hair out. but no, man, we're not doing it that way, man. We're doing it this way. And she tilts her head and goes, okay. And you know you just got in trouble. Listen, Joyce's love for you is no different than my love for you.
Oh, yes.
I can just say things a little different to all of my guy friends because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, okay. No, I get it. Listen, when Joyce says it to you, it's the same thing. It's coming through this filter of a mom, that's coming through this filter of a woman, it's coming through this filter. But if you let it come through this filter of a leader, you can never say no to it. Is this helping? If this is helping, drop an H in the chat. If this is helping you all, drop an H in the chat. Okay, good. Just checking. Want to make sure this white guy from Texas is bringing some value. What other questions? Listen, so Sharon, you got your hand up. Wait a second. Oh, there's a bunch of hands. Shammy, you got your hand up. What's up, Shammy? My little love. Now, if the kids are running wild, that's okay. What you doing?
I'm enjoying the platform. It's amazing. Wow.
Today.
Thank you, Peter.
Early.
Good morning, Shammy. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning. I'm actually gotta catch my breath a little. I was doing exercise because if I don't do it early, I don't get time to do it later. It becomes complicated later. I just want to mention how much I giggle listening to you talk right now because yesterday I went to bed listening to you talk in Spanish and it made me giggle a lot too.
Yes, my Spanish makes a lot of people giggle.
but you spoke so well. But then listening, I think it's more like right now when I was listening to you talk, I'm like exercising, and then I had to stop and laugh. And then yesterday, when I went to bed, I was already happy because of the amazing day that I had, but laughing, giggling to you, it just made me think like, wow, like, and then hearing you today, just how adverse and how confident you are in everything you do. And because it made me giggle, but you spoke so well that I could understand everything perfectly. So.
But so this is why I always say, listen, and Joyce, I'm going to share this with you. This is why you and I get along. If our teams look like us, talk like us, walk like us, we need more diversity. And so you've built a huge organization. Hold on. Let me get this taken care of. Mute all. Continue. There we go. This is why diversity is so important. And the challenge is a lot of times, I know as I start to build in other countries, when I was building in across Europe, when I would build in Slovenia, because they have a lot of English speaking there, Slovenians had a hard time sponsoring Italians because Italians thought Slovenians were, and that could have been from the wars. That could have been from the time of the wars. And so I say this to say, a lot of times, folks in Africa, they come with this perception that, well, it's hard for us to go outside of our borders. It's hard for us to go outside of our towns because, listen, Texans think they're pretty powerful people. Texas versus Oklahomans, unless it's regarding football, they just have this perception. New Yorkers versus New Jerseyites, or Tennesseans versus Alabama. Everybody has this prejudice. And so we're born with that. We're wired with that. Listen, this is an interesting question. How many of you know your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather or grandmother? Most of us don't. Most of us never could. But their nose is on your face. So all of that challenge, all of those trials show up in our DNA, show up in our body. It's conversations like this where you get to hear something from the outside world that tells you you're good enough, that tells you you're strong enough, that tells you you're important. Listen, there's nothing I've said that Joyce hasn't said to all of you before. I promise you this. Because I know her for 9 years, what she said to you in love and in leadership. Some of you went, and you do that noise, right? How many of you can do that lip smacking thing? I can't do it. All of my years in St. Croix and St. Thomas, and they do that. I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. But you know the noise I'm talking about. And what I'm saying that is she absolutely goes to bed every night wanting more for you. And she wakes up every morning wanting more for you. And the great news is that she has friends like me who can help fill up her source. Friends like Tom Chenault, Eric Worre, Ray Higdon, all of these leaders. Listen, if Joyce said, I want to talk to Denny Robinson today, I'd put her on the phone like that. Joyce has all of my contacts that she needs. You know why? Because I have all of Joyce's contacts if I needed them. This is what mentorship, this is what friendship means in this world of our business. Trinidad, yeah, man, everything true in Trinidad. We go and party. So, I'm glad you all are here today. Sharon, you've got your hand up. Sharon, let's go to Sharon on line 4 in Las Vegas, Nevada.
I just want to say how I blown away I am on this. It feels like this gift. I mean, everything about you, being with you, Sean, feels like this gift. But I'm seeing people in foreign countries. Americans have no idea how easy they have it, frankly. And I see people in other countries who, just go the distance to become better, to become more, to give more, to make a difference. And, it's so inspiring to me because, I was my very first network marketing company, I was probably the only American in the room practically. And I was like in awe of what goes on. Anyway, usually from when I raise my hand until when I speak is like 100 years, so I don't know what I'm saying. But I also wanted to say a special thank you, because I don't even remember the question I asked you. The transformation was so complete that day. I think it was on a Sunday, because I don't do it during the week at 4:30 in the morning. But but you know what? If I was in one of these other countries, I bet I would get up at 4:30 in the morning. I mean, I wouldn't be such a wuss. But what you have done for me is take me out of the grandiosity deficiency and just help me be honest, be real. And your authenticity this morning of having gone down a little rabbit hole for a minute, it's like, it's not the rabbit holes that matter, it's how quickly we can pull ourselves out of them. How can we, because none of us are immune to the rabbit holes, you know. And even for a tiny split second, Jesus said, why have you forsaken me? For a split second. But he knew why he was there. And I don't know how I got so lucky to be here, but I will never, ever be the same. And this, I'm in awe, because for 74 years, I've been becoming this, you know, and I have this prospect on Facebook that I reached out to and said, I love you, I'm sending you some love. And she said, I'm hopeless. Nothing will ever change. I said, man, you might want to jump on this call. Nothing can change me. This is it, I'm stuck. And I thought, what do you say? You know, and it's not my job. I can't fix her. She has to take that step for herself. And I'm just in awe of Joyce. When I heard you say, you say you had 200,000 people, I have this vision, this dream of building a ginormous team. And I get so hooked into the trying to help them that I don't get beyond 100 people. You know, I haven't so far in the past. That's going to change in this organization, in this community that is just about love. And I don't know, it's not really a question, Sean. It's really, I just want to say thank you. I can't say thank you enough. And you can go down a rabbit hole for 2 seconds.
And so the key is, you're absolutely right, Sharon, is that we all go down the rabbit holes. And I was blessed that it happened 15 minutes before the call, because that's the only time it could happen, because I had to get on the call. When we have a schedule where we are designed to go give love, you got to show up and give the love. And that was my little venting. So that was me. When you go, I wonder what Sean's like when he vents. You all got to see me vent.
Well, the other thing about it is that in order to pull myself, I won't talk about anybody else, pull myself out of a rabbit hole, I have to notice that I went down one, and I have to notice how I put myself there. So it's like the other day, I was working, doing great, about 5.5 hours, and I could hear the noise of, oh God, you'll never do enough, it's not enough. And I was like, nope, that's not true. And I said, go do something different. But it was like I had to catch it instead of going down it and getting stuck in it. Yep. And that's the gift. And that's the gift you've given me, because I know I don't deserve those rabbit holes. I don't believe them anymore. They just, you know, tough.
So just as an example, how many of our new folks that are listening from Africa or any place, how many of you just heard Sharon's story and said, I've gone down rabbit holes, but haven't been able to catch myself? So if you've ever been down a rabbit hole, drop an R. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you've ever gone down a rabbit hole. So if you've gone down the rabbit hole, the question is you got to recognize where the hole starts. That's why this community works, is because we're recognizing where the hole starts. We're all going to have rabbit holes. This is so awesome.
The other thing for me, frankly, I mean, you guys have have given me such a gift, because if I ever start to go down to a poor me's place, it has absolutely no place. I mean, Kayla, it just absolutely moved me and moves me every day. And I cannot imagine how people overcome some of the things that they overcome. So I will never go into a poor me place again, ever.
Kayla, Kayla, are you in a place where you can talk? You don't have to come on camera, but can you just?
Yes, yes.
So,
Hello.
Kayla, good morning, Kayla.
Good morning.
Kayla, I want to introduce you to Joyce. Joyce, I want to introduce you to Kayla. I would love that you two connect on Facebook or social media, because you're both powerfully strong women. And I think you'd have some amazing stories to share with each other, leadership stories.
That'd be awesome. I mean, I jump in late, but with everything I've been hearing, I'm like, oh my God, as soon as I finish, I'm going to ask Sean to give me the first. And I'm just like, I got to tell him, I got to tell him. I mean, because everybody's saying so, plus seeing those faces with that big smile, you know how I go with that big smile, how I feel about it. So many years I don't smile. So for me, when I see people smiling like that, I mean, and it's amazing because when Sharon was talking and you were talking, it's like, God, when we really in a community of love, I mean, you can feel it without seeing. I mean, because I'm right here and I just want to like cry and cry, like no reason. I mean, there is reasons, but it's like you ask yourself, gosh, why do you want to cry now, Kayla? But then I go, well, cry. You know, it's a joy cry. You know, I mean, it's something that through the phone you can just feel it. And I mean, I'm so thankful with you, John, and everybody here, because all the time you guys changed my life. Every time I jump in here, you guys changed my life, and I'd be more than glad to start a conversation with Joyce.
Yeah, you two are
I know,
absolutely amazing.
I know things happen for a reason, and I know there is something there that is going to change my life. I know that.
So Joyce, I know you weren't preparing for this. Give us some of your leadership. Just talk with us. Tell me some of your stories. You know I love you like my little sister. Just what would you share with this audience? What are some of the things that you've gone through since we last met over the last 9 years? What are some of the awakenings you've had? Okay, I unmuted you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. When we met, I made a decision on how to reinvent my business, because I realized I was initially only working from one country, which was my country, Kenya. And I identified a need. I identified a place I wanted to work from, or how I wanted to work. I wanted to work with the younger generation, which in Africa, we have a big number of people who are not working. So I wanted to work with young people who nobody wanted to talk to, which was the big number of unemployed people. So that is where I put my love and my energy and my time. And I focused on the group that we would like to call neglected, which is directly after high school, which is age 19 to about 29. And that's the group of people that I primarily work with. And I built my business in Kenya, and then I started to expand my business outside of my country, which meant traveling to a different region, but within Africa. New language, new people, new community, new society. So in working that way, I built up my business in different parts of Africa to now have my business is in almost 37 different countries. And yes, and most of it actually really, and that's how come I get to be on this Zoom call now. Most of my business, or all my business, has been offline business. For us, or for me, using Facebook is just a place to meet people. But really, most of my transactions are offline, physical, human to human, you know. But now with the way things are, we will now have to move a lot of our work to working like this. So the biggest breakthrough for me is understanding that network marketing, or our profession, is actually a solution for problems that exist in the world today. And even after all this, you know, after all the season is over, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be speaking to us or asking, which are the inquiries I now get on messages. People are saying, so what are you doing? How can we get to work with you? Because I really don't push people to, on my Facebook page, nobody will even figure out what it is that I do, because I don't push people to figure out what I do. I don't tell anybody what I do. I just go in there and talk about life in general. You know, that's just what it is. That's just how I got to understand, because that's who I am. When you now build the rapport to the person now saying, okay, so what do you do, or how do you do? Then I get to meet them, because then we could meet people. We still don't have 100% lockdown in my country. It's 50-50. We can get to go around, but still, you know, there's still that thing. But my breakthrough really is in understanding I am a solution provider for people changing their lives, getting them to be better human beings, getting them to solve the problems in their family, community, and society, getting them to send love home to their parents, getting them to change the livelihoods and the standards in their village. I have young people in this group who've built homes for their families. Each one will get to share with time. You know, they'll show you pictures of what their homes looked like before, which was grass and mud, to now having beautiful homes for their families. Young people in this group, because I don't work with people my age, I work with the younger generation, and that's the group that hangs around me, because that's a group I resonate with. They've all transformed their families and their lives. Because I believed in working with a younger group, then I stay younger. If I work with the older group, I grow older. So I choose the younger group. And they're awesome. They're coachable. They know how to get onto this technology faster than me. They're fun when we travel, because we get to travel with a young group. The most exciting part is when you put these young people who've never been on a plane and you're out on trips with them. First time on an airplane, you know, that is really movie, drama, rolling. It's like a Netflix movie starting to roll. Oh, you've never seen such fun. We will write a story about our trips with these young people. You can write a book about the trips and the travel. But the best part in all this is we are one big family. And when somebody sends me a message that my mother, his mother, her mother has sent me a gift, for me, it makes the world of a difference. Peter is one guy who's on this group, and Peter told me his mother said, that lady in the capital city of Nairobi, one day I would like to meet that lady who got you to change your way of thinking, that you changed our way of life. There's a guy in here called Peter. And you share that story one day, one time. The stories are really not about me. The beautiful stories are going to come from my young people. So if you do give them time, in the future, in the next videos, because I'd like them to keep coming on here, and then they'll get to share their stories. You hear phenomenal stories, beautiful stories of people who've changed their lives. So the story is not really about me, it's about my people.
So can you see why I love Joyce? Did you hear all of the things that she said her teams are doing? What have we been talking about for 431 episodes since December 18th, 2018? Hey, Joyce.
Hey.
I told you I had it.
Of course I remember it.
This is something that was given to me on the 5th of August, 2011. It has been a focal point of my family's life, and Joyce, I love you for this. This is a piece of art that has changed my family's life.
Wow.
I love you.
Love you more.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear me talk about these stories that you never know the impact you can make, this is what we do on a daily basis. Wow. And I do want everybody to come on these calls, Joyce, and I do want to give everybody a spotlight to tell their story on a global scale for two things. One, they get to leverage you. Two, they get to leverage me. And then they get to go back to their small towns where it was grass huts and mats and turn it into homes. And they get to go back and say, I spoke on an international stage telling my story. I'm good enough.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
I need everybody to tell their story, and we will do that. I will be honored to have them share the stage with people around the world. Kayla, you see why I want you to speak to Joyce, because of the grass huts and the mats? Kayla, 18 months ago, had dirt floors in her house and now has tile everywhere.
Wow. Oh.
Joyce, this is what powerful women do. They change the world. The Dalai Lama said not long ago, the world will be saved by the Western woman. I think we just take the Western out of it. This global planet that we are in right now will be saved by women. Guys, listen up. I would encourage you to be a place of platform, a place of safety, a place of encouragement, a place of joy. Because listen, this whole energy of the world is about to shift. And it may take 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but if you are the start of it, you will be part of the legacy that saved this planet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't even stand it. Where's Rhonda Bird Parker? Where's she at?
Here I am.
How you doing, girl?
I'm sitting here thinking I've got a young man I need to introduce to Joyce that because of cultural differences, I don't understand how to handle, because he's in Ghana and he would make a perfect connection with Joyce. And I know Joyce could mentor him and love him and put him in a team that would be better suited than a mama from Texas. So I'm over here writing notes going, I got to get Joyce and this young man connected, because he's been rather frustrated with me because I don't understand the cultural differences and I have nothing in Ghana to offer him. So at the end of this call, Miss Joyce, I will probably try to get that name to you and get that connection to you, and you can love on him and help him and mentor him and do what I couldn't, because I don't understand all that and I don't have anything in Ghana to be able to hand out to him. I can love him, but he needs a place to where he can be loved and make some money so he can change his life. So if you won't mind me doing that, I would greatly appreciate that.
My
and
pleasure.
be able to give that. Okay, good, good.
Cool.
So no, I changed my scenery. I came outside to listen to every one of y'all. I kind of felt like if I'm talking to Africa, I think I should be outside somewhere, not in my home. And I'm
Sean will
loving
give
that.
you my link. Sean will give you Sean will do that.
Yes.
Okay, that would be really, really good. And then you guys can have another family member, and that would make me feel so much better, because I've been rather heartbroken because he's been a little frustrated. And I just want to be able to bring joy to people's lives. And what better way to bring joy from a woman named Joyce to this young man's life? So her name says it all. She literally sits in joy. And I would love that. But no, I'm just sitting here listening to everything. I've got 2 or 3 pages of notes and journaling, hearing y'all's love for everybody. And it does my heart good this morning, especially to hear love across the globe. And I'm sitting in gratitude with that. And I love that it's not a competition. I love that it's just humanity coming together. And you know, for me, it happens to be on a Sunday, so that's holy for me. And that just points me back to God and everything that he's capable of, and the love that he sits in, and his love and his joy. And how when we sit in that, there's nothing else that matters. When we sit in love and we sit in joy, there is nothing else that matters, and everything else will fall into place. He is the creator of this world and this universe, and rightfully so, he is deemed my highest authority and my spiritual guider. And I think it's an amazing moment to be able to sit with literally spanning the globe and hearing everybody shout out love, no matter race, no matter creed, no matter color, no matter gender. And we sit here together offering opportunities to build each other up and to love each other more and to spread the smiles and to spread the laughter, because like Sharon had said, you never know who's down a rabbit hole. You never know who's about to slip down a rabbit hole. You never know who's coming out of a rabbit hole. And to be in any of those places and have somebody walk by with joy and love on their tongue and a hand up, you have no idea what you can offer to somebody and how you can change their trajectory just for the day, for the moment, but it'll ultimately change it for the life, their whole life and their family's life and their generations to come. And I'm grateful for that. I'm sitting out here in God's creation on a beautiful day in East Texas, and I'm hearing from all over the world love and joy and kindness, and everyone linking arms together. I don't care the company. Doesn't matter the company. Doesn't matter the company name. Doesn't matter the family name. We're all together. We're all the human race. And when we join our hearts, the world's changed. And so I'm grateful to be here with every one of y'all. I am overcome with love, feeling Africa represent today. Who would have thought little East Texas gal would be sitting on a phone call with a bunch of high-powered, influential, loving Africans? That's just crazy. I love it. So thanks for letting me have a moment to share, Sean. I love y'all.
Love you too, Rhonda. And so listen to all of the people who have been on the calls prior to today and hear me talk about or hear other people talk about my success and my global success and my global reach. Joyce, thank you for coming on and confirming that, you know, I have had some success in the world, that people, because they don't know what they don't know. And I'm glad I get to spotlight you for all of your community. Joyce is such a powerhouse in this world. I hope you all see her in a different light and you start to listen to her words. Maybe they fall on your heart just a little bit more than your head, because Joyce has been an influence in my life for the last 9 years. You may have heard her talk about it. You may have heard her use some of the trainings that she's picked up from different places, but she takes this home and turns it into your cultural language, your cultural business, your cultural joy. She's literally changing the world, and I want to spotlight the bejeebies out of her. I hope you have all taken a picture, a snapshot of this. I hope you've all taken your camera out and you've put it on a snapshot, because you can say now, my mentor just shared the stage with another international icon, 22 years, stood on stage in 30 plus countries, been translated into over 40 languages, a three-time #1 Amazon bestseller. And these two got on a conference call today, a Zoom today, and they spoke like brother and sister. This is the power of our community. For all of you that follow me, this is the power of the community you're a part of. This is my sister in Africa. See, we don't talk about it. We don't go, oh my gosh, I've helped do this, that, and the other. We don't, because we don't have to. We get to love on each other. So Joyce, thank you so much for being here today. I absolutely love and adore you. I'm in honor of you, and you know, anything I can ever do, I'm always at your service.
It's mutual, and thank you so much.
This is so great. Wendy Rodriguez. Yo, girl, what's up, girl? Wendy Rodriguez, you had your hand up. You still here, girl? Do I need to unmute you? Well, we'll get back to Wendy. She may be doing something. Laura Mendez. Laura, you there?
Hi, Sean. Of course I'm here.
Oh,
I don't know if I need to talk now, because after everything that just happened, I'm just like, wow, it's amazing. And I love you. And I love you for this and for creating this space. And I definitely want to thank you for uploading your videos to YouTube, Sean, because I was...
Oh, yeah. By the way, Joyce, everybody can go to youtube.com mentor to mentor, and this will be uploaded later today. So your whole team can brag on you and brag on everybody. Mr. Peter yeah, Manji can talk, and he can say, go look, I was on the platform. Yeah, man, everything. I was laughing. We were smiling. We were liming. We were laughing. Joffrey was on there, so you guys can all share this and go, look, we were on this call. Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah. I really want to thank you for uploading the videos, Sean, because I have so many hours of private mentorship with you, basically, because that's what the videos are. And I kid you not, I haven't been listening to anything else but you. And I love it because I get to hear you like on the back of my head when you're not playing. So that has been challenging me in great ways. And it has changed me a lot to the person that I know I am today. And something that I heard in the call today, and it was just resonating with me, was love, 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 love. Like literally every single person said love, love, even on the chat, love, love, love. On your calls, every time that I play them, you talk about love, love, love. And I think that is what has changed my life. That is what has changed my business. And that is what is going to change the generations to come that I get to impact thanks to you. So definitely want to give you a shout out for that. And I want to share with you another encounter that I had the other day with someone. And
hold on, you went quiet. Where'd you go? Your sound went away. Come back. Where'd your sound go, Laura? Oh, wait. You're unmuted. Go ahead.
okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I had another conversation, really deep conversation out of the nowhere, and I'm loving this, okay, because I am becoming aware of them. And I had goosebumps again, Sean, and I was so excited. And well, so this conversation was about love. So we're talking about love today, right? So I was like, wow. So this happened on Friday, and you know, we were talking about, with this person, we were talking about when someone passes away, okay? And I unfortunately had someone of my family passed away about a week ago. And, you know, with the midst of the whole situation, it has been hard. But this person said something to me on Friday. She said that when you do everything in your power out of love, okay, to be there for that person and to love them every single like second of their existence, when they pass away, yes, your heart mourns because you don't get to see him or them again, but your heart doesn't ache. And I was like, whoa. So like everything within me was just like, it was so deep. And, you know, besides the topic of, you know, of someone passing away, it's the fact that when you do everything in your power to love people every single second, okay, that you can, your heart shouldn't ache. You should be in joy. And you were like on the back of my head, Sean, and I was like, oh my God, this is another breakthrough. And I was like, even though of course I was like still like digesting the whole, you know, concept of this, I translated it into my business. And I said, if all I do is love, love, love every single second that I can, I know that my business is going to grow because I am in the business of building people. And that, Sean, has been like a tremendous like key in my business lately. Every time that I talk to a person, the people that I have sponsored lately, all I do is talk to them and make sure that I love them, you know, that my intention is out of love and not out of commission breath. You know, we've talked about this. But I kid you not, Sean, on Friday when I had that conversation with that person, I was like, whoa. And then she was telling me about the situation with her grandma and how she had the privilege to be there for her grandma before she passed. And she said this quote, and I was like, whoa, this is my new mantra, or I have to incorporate it into my life. She said, when you exhausted all that you can do, what else is there to do? And it was just resonating with me. When you've exhausted everything that you have to do, what else is there to do? So when you exhausted all the love that you can give, which it's impossible, right? Because you can always give so much. What else is there to do? You've accomplished, you know, your goal. And so I'm just like having all this emotions, but I feel joy, I feel love, I feel like and then this call, and all I hear is love, 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 love from Africa, from Ecuador, from everywhere. And I'm like, that's just a confirmation from my God that he's telling me just love and just sit in love, because that brings you joy. So I just want to thank you for that, Sean, because this was not the Laura that came into the calls, 3 months ago. I've definitely changed. And it has been having an effect, a positive effect in my business as well. So I'm just so thankful for you, and I love you, and I get to sit in love and go to bed in love and wake up in love. And that right there for me is to be rich, okay, rich in love. And I want to be able to express that to other people. So that's it.
Laura, thank you. I'm so honored. Listen, folks, this is what we do every day. I'll give you some leadership points. I'll help you break through some things, but this is what we do. So feel free to invite anybody you want to these calls. Laura, thank you. I'm reading Kayla's notes. Oh, good. I'm not the only one that hears Sean in my head. No, I'm getting accused of that a lot lately, and it's an honor. So Joyce, we do this call tomorrow. It'll be 2 hours earlier. So it's 6:30 a.m. Central Time. So whatever time you got on today would be 2 hours earlier. You can invite the community. But I would like you to wrap us up this morning, Joyce, this afternoon for you. I'd like you to close out our conversation today. And it doesn't have to be it's just you. I just want to hear from you. I want to hear your voice.
So, for me, this has been a real deep honor. For me, this has been the best thing that I'd ever have done on a Sunday. Because for us here, we started at 4:30 p.m. here. We're 8 hours ahead of you. It's the close of our Sunday evening now. And this for me is high value. This is deep honor. This is love. This has taught me that the whole world is connected, real connection for the entire world. And we're all focused and we're all doing the very same thing, which is building everybody up, building each other up, and getting humanity to be better than they are, bigger than they are, and really just bringing out the best in every other human being. Real service to humanity, real blessing to everybody, real value. And we are all going to go to sleep today in Africa, in this part of the world, knowing we have great love, we have great friends, we have mentors, we have people to go to, we have a family that we can connect to. And I promise you, we're going to be on this every day, and we're going to build it so big within Africa, you won't believe what's going to be happening. We're going to get, for our people to get online to buy the internet speed, they have to buy internet bundles to be on this. All the guys have had to do extra to be on this. It costs them almost an arm and a leg, but we're going to get people in Africa on this because we are singing, we are doing the same thing. We are getting recharged. My phone died. I'm now recharging. I had to move to a different spot so that I could charge my things up. This is real value. This is
And there goes the enemy. Oh my goodness. Well, here you go. Here's the reality. We are one world. This thing that I started 431 shows ago, it wasn't for me, although I'm the one that's receiving the biggest joy from it. Each of you are as important as the next. Nobody is more valuable. Nobody is less valuable. Here's what I know. Today, you get to make a difference in your life. Is it okay if you do that? Because if you do that, you then have a resource. You have a source that you can go share with somebody else. I can't wait to continue to meet more of Joyce's team, to fall back in love with my little sister and let you all be a part of it. You all have made this possible, because if we didn't have our show yesterday, if you didn't show up yesterday, those of you that are a part of the Daily Awakening, today wouldn't have been possible. We wouldn't have had today. So you are all absolutely as big a part of this as anyone. So with that, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? Look at that, lights out. Joyce just texted me. They had a blackout there. this is just what happens. So I'll see y'all where at the next event. I would love you to do this. Unmute your mic and just share love with each other. Tell each other you love each other.
I love you all.
Thank you, Misfits.
Guys.
I love Sean.
Oh, Sean.
You all.
Be my misfit family. Everyone have a blessed
Have a
day.
wonderful day, everyone. Take
everybody.
care.
Thank you for everything.
Love you, my brothers and sisters.
Love you all. Gonna have a blessed day.
Stay blessed.
I love you all so much. Share a smile with everyone.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, John. Thanks, Julie.
Peter, thank you for being here, Peter.
All day long.
Have a fantastic day, all.
Her love and joy all day.
See y'all tomorrow.
Blessed day.